Welcome back. Today we are doing a massive refresh on this 1993 C4 Corvette. If your C4 feels a bit loose and you are hearing clunks, it means it is that time for new bushings. We are replacing the sway bar bushings, rear control arm, dog bone, and doing a complete 4-wheel brake job. So we are removing the old bushings. They're pressed in. The new ones are not. A lot easier to install. This is the new kit. So this is just for visual. So now we have them installed. Just the same way that I remove it, so we're back in place. So our next step is the rear control arms and the rear spring outer bolt. Gonna start by removing the brakes, rotor, caliper. Hopefully it will make it easier to remove, but makes no difference. First time working on this kind of vehicle, so I had to do what I had to do to remove them. So here they are out of the vehicle. We can see that these bushings have seen better days. That really need to be replaced. This project is very time consuming. I did it over winter because I knew how long it was gonna take, and also it will give me time not to be in a rush. Trying too many different ways to get these new bushings in place. Never done it before, first time. So whatever works to make it happen. It's not like I was gonna damage the new bushing, so I wasn't afraid to use whatever I need to use to get them replaced. Removing the old bushings is not easier or harder than installing the new ones in place, because they've been there for so long. Some of them really go sideways, and it just makes it harder to remove those old bushings. It is recommended to use grease to install the new bushings so they won't get stuck halfway. And here we have the new bushings installed, ready to go back in place. The same way I remove them, same way I put them back. this is where your camera is gonna be off. The car will need to be aligned after me replacing a lot of the front end and the rear, so the alignment is gonna be way off. So before I even test drive it, the car has to be aligned. So here we have the new bushings and put everything back the way it was. Also replacing the rear spring outer bolt. As you can see, it is dry rotted, so might as well replace it if I'm replacing all these parts. Suspension doesn't look too bad for the year, so hopefully she rides smooth. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the passenger side, removing the control arms, also known as dog bone. On this side, I decided not to remove the caliper and the rotor just because it makes no difference. And honestly, I think it's better that way. Started by removing the rear spring bolt. Once I got that removed, I follow up at the lower control arm and then the two dog bone. Replacing these bushings is supposed to be one of the best mods that you can add to this 93 C4 Corvette. So here we have the old parts, old bushings. Definitely they need to be replaced. We got the old and new, so let's get it done. The second time around was easier as I knew what to do and the tools that I needed to remove the old bushings. I started by removing the centerpiece, and it makes it easier to push out the actual rubber. Like I said before, it's not easier to remove or install the new bushings. I had the same struggle one way or the other. So just, if you're gonna do this project, just be patient with this part because it's very time consuming. So after working for hours, removing the old bushings and pressing the new ones, we finally got it done. New bushings. So it is that time to put him back, install him, and just the same way that we remove him, we're just gonna put him back, one at a time. The dog bone wasn't too hard to install. It's the lower control arm that takes a little bit longer, or it's just not as easy, as this controls the camber of the wheels. So we know the camber is gonna be off. We know we have to align the car after all this is done. So for the meantime, we're just gonna put it as close as possible. I did put a mark to where the bolts were before I remove them, but it doesn't mean my alignment is gonna be on point. So regardless, we're gonna take it to get aligned. So here we are finishing installing the last control arm. They look good. It's aluminum and new bushings. I think it's gonna handle a lot better with this new bushing, so we'll see. So next is replacing the brakes. We're gonna start with this same wheel, removing the caliper and rotor. Trying to push back the pistons on the caliper. It's a little bit of a struggle, but we got it done. So once we got that caliper pistons pushed back in place, the rotor is next, and the instruction says that this rotor goes on this wheel and is been ID as well. Here, putting back the caliper in place, a little bit of a struggle, a little tight fit, but nothing that we cannot handle. Putting back the caliper covers, they don't look too bad, and now we're moving to the front driver's side. For the front, I did remove the brakes because I replaced other parts, ball joint, outer tie rod, and some other parts as well. For the front brakes, I had to be sure that I was using the right brackets that holds the pads in place. And the guide pen they use, or the design, it's not complicated. I just have never done it before, so it took me a little bit longer to put them back how they're supposed to. So after taking my time on figuring out how this caliper is put back together, we're actually gonna put it back together and move with the front driver side. Moving to the driver's side, hopefully it doesn't take us as long as it took me to do the passenger side. The one thing that really took me long to figure out, it's the guide pin, and it only has a locking washer to hold it in place. So once I figured that out, it didn't take that long. So final wheel, rear driver side. The rear brake pads, they had a very tight fit. So we have everything back in place. Final touch, the caliper cover. Not too bad, but I think it looks pretty decent. Overall, it will be a good car. I have high hopes for it, and if you like what I do, please subscribe and like my videos.